So I wanted, so I didn't even realize I kind of did this. So it's kind of an interesting, cool coincidence that I was telling you guys earlier about the Bo Burnham thing, and I was telling her about that. So I wanted to play it because it was really good what he has to say about corporations and the need to grow in a finite world, like I was talking about earlier. And so this person says, wow, didn't know Bo Burnham was a real one. Couldn't be more relevant. This was released, it looks like just a couple of days ago. And then there'll be like the whole video, which we can't watch. Like I said, we can't watch the whole video. We'll probably be able to watch it in pieces or something, because it's a lot. There was a suicide warning on it, so we can't really watch it. We're gonna get in trouble. But I do want to watch this part. I thought this was really awesome, what he has to say here.
They're coming for every second of your life. That's what these companies are coming to. This company as well. And it's not because anyone is bad. It's not because anyone in this company has evil plans or is trying to do this. They're not even doing it consciously. It's because these companies like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everything, they went public and they went to shareholders. So they have to grow. Their entire models are based off of growth. They cannot stay stagnant. Twitter grossed $4-5 billion last year. It is in the red. It is unprofitable. It has to get more of you. No matter how nice it's trying to be, it is all that they're trying to get more engagement from you. We used to colonize land. That was the thing you could expand into, and that's where money was to be made. We colonized the entire earth. There was no other place for the businesses and capitalism to expand into, and then they realized human attention. That we can now, they are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. That's what's happening. So like, as much as we can, you know, as have really good conversations and try to humanize the conversations, the like mechanism of the business is rolling towards that just because of the market. So like, it's coming. It's coming for every free second you have. And that's dark. That's really, really dark and scary. And for someone like me, I grew up a little bit on the internet. And I felt the repercussions of it. I suffer from anxiety. So I know where it leads. And I'm saying, like, you don't want this. Trust me. Like, you're not going to feel good about yourself. And you know it. The kids know it. Like, the whole joke on the internet is everyone's like, this place sucks, right? I mean, like, that's like kind of the thing. That's why their memes are all ironic and detached and self-referential and 12 layers deep, because truth is completely dead to them and they know it. They look at the president, they look at the culture, they go, what the hell is this? They look at like Coca-Cola commercials that are winking at them and smiling, and they go like, forget it, you know? So like, ugh, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Tell me that's not really fucking good. I mean, I agree with him. I mean, to a certain degree. I really appreciate having the internet because of the fact that you can reach and communicate and stuff. But yeah, no, ever since I really started getting deep into the internet constantly, it's definitely brought on a lot of anxieties and things that I never had before. I was always known as like a social butterfly, but now, I'll forget to even, or, get scared to call people back. So, definitely internet has done something, but how else are we supposed to, I wouldn't have met all of you people either as well. And plus I'm on social media right now, like literally using it. So, so yeah, definitely would be interesting to do a watch party on it. So that way we can watch the whole thing if you guys want to. I can even put it in the description or in the chat so you guys can see it. How did we live without the internet last century? Exactly. Well, I mean, I remember a little bit before the internet too. So, but then I also remember when the internet really came to regular people as well. And I did see a change in the people. I mean, there was in this video, the main video, there was a part that he was saying in here about yeah, see, look at this. Oh wait, wrong one. Check this out. Like this is why I can't watch this on here, because I'm super scared. See, following content, self-harm topics. It's really scary. But what he was saying in here was something around the lines of like when social media first started and the internet really got big with the regular people, that a lot of people were starting to rate each other. Things are now nowadays how nowadays, like, you're rated in school and your popularity by how many followers you have. And I remember when that first started was like right around, it was before MySpace, and there was this website. I think it was called like PickRave or something, pickrave.com. And you would get a point each month and you would give it to whoever you thought that was your favorite person on that site. And so, like, people would be getting all kinds of points, like thousands and stuff. And I remember me and my friend were sitting there competing on who could get the most points on that website. We'd always compete, we'd never get up to like the thousands or anything like some people did, but it was still that I felt like maybe that's where it got started on rating people, because then you got MySpace after that, where you would put your top, your top 10 friends or whatever, your top 9 friends. And so, if you weren't on that list, oh my gosh, that was a big thing. So I could see where the culture started of, however many followers on websites and social media sites you have is how popular you could possibly be in school. So, but then you also have to think, like, internet is completely separated from real life. And once you're out of school, I guess it is still kind of a popularity contest, but in real life, the popularity contest doesn't matter. Like, if you're walking down the street, most of the people, unless you're super famous, like a star, nobody's really going to know who you are. You're just a streamer, or you're just a content creator or an influencer. And so not everybody knows who you are, but on the internet, it's a whole nother deal. Now popularity is on the internet in this matrix world instead of in real life. Yeah, it's wild. Top 8. Yeah, I remember that. We used paper. Exactly. Burn books. Yeah. They had payphones on every corner. Superman broke them all. Hey, I've used payphones. All right. I remember payphones. Payphones. I kind of miss having payphones around, even though it sucked to pay. It was still like, I guess we have cell phones now, so it doesn't really matter. But, payphones were still cool. It's really interesting to see payphones sitting around now because they're like totally unusable. And kids are like, what are those? You're like, that's a payphone. Kids are like, what's a payphone? Great. Yeah, the top 8. I'm trying to, man, I'm so scared of like showing him off in this video but I think is right here is where he talks about the social media and the points and the popularity.
Have a number attached to exactly how
this is it.
liked you. Like
the technology, but is that what you were going for? Is that what you were wanting to get across?
Yeah, I mean, like this, like being a kid doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like your body's still exploding and your mind is mashed potatoes and all that stuff. So like that doesn't really change that much. It's just I think the degree to which these things are felt changes a little bit. Everyone was worried about fitting in. Everyone was worried about how they were being perceived by others. Your social life didn't used to follow you home. You used to have an escape from that. You also didn't have a number attached to exactly how much people liked you. Like you actually.
That's a hard thing for my kid to understand. That's a big difference that I noticed between my kid and I is the fact that she feels like when she goes home, her friends at school are still a part of her life. They're still there, which was a lot different for me back when I was going to school, because I didn't have a cell phone in high school or junior high or anything like that. So when I went home from school, it was a completely separate life than what I went to school with. Like if I had a boyfriend at school, there was nothing really going on after school, maybe a phone call a week or something like that. I completely separated my home life from my school life. But these kids now, they've meshed it all together. It's all a part of all of that. There's that super, like, it's just, they're a part of their life now. And it's interesting, the non-separateness nowadays.
Quantifiable how approved you are by your peers. You can rank order the entire class of a high school by popularity, literally. And then there's a sort of other less tangible aspect to social media and the internet that we wanted to talk about, which it's hard to sort of it's actually hard to talk about. It's easier to just portray, which is, what it feels like to be on the internet subjectively. We didn't want to make a TED Talk. We wanted to make an experiential film, and the choice all of us have at the end of the day, not just kids, but of course it's more vulnerable for kids because their minds are still growing. At the end of the day, you have a choice in your bed at night between all of the information in the history of the world or the back of your eyelids. And that's a crazy, crazy binary to be choosing the entire time, and it's like we're hyper connected and we're lonely, we're overstimulated and we're numb, we're objectifying ourselves and we're expressing ourselves. So
yeah, I couldn't imagine all of that as a child developing. That seems like it's a lot to deal with, especially when you're trying to understand the world, as a child, as a teenager, and then out as you're, away from your parents' rule and out into the open world as yourself. That's a lot of things to comprehend that a lot of us older people didn't really have to deal with a lot. I mean, even even when I first got cell phones, you were only allowed to talk so much because you were charged, per minute and per text. So it did the whole cell phone being, attached to my hip and being a part of me didn't even really hit me until the mid 2010s, at least for me personally. I know a lot of people were already, deep dived into it and stuff back then, before then, but I couldn't imagine, having to deal with your personal things outside of your control with your personal life experience in the world, understanding the world, trying to figure out the world in your life, combined with the two, while also having this object in your hand that can literally give you every answer to everything that you could ever imagine. And what does your brain do during that time? Like, how does your brain process that? How does it mess with the ego as well? The whole psychological, social part of it too. So, right, because it was free. Remember free nights and weekends? Yeah, we can only talk after 9 p.m. I fucking remember that shit, man. You haven't had a cell for years now? Jeez. I think just I'd say within the last 7 years is when I really got deep diving into the internet and what it could really offer me. And before then, I was into the internet and all of that stuff, but not as much social media. It was more like sitting on Reddit and learning things or understanding the dark. I delved into the dark web to see what that was about. I mean, only dipped my toe in. I never went into there and talked or anything. I just lurked, but because that shit's scary. But yeah, no, now just within the last 7 years or so is when I really started getting into like the internet and what it could offer me and the intelligence that it has and the information that it has for people. So definitely couldn't go without a cell phone now. I'm definitely a part of the Bo Burnham, what he's saying. So yeah, definitely lucky. Saving a lot of money. Yeah, for sure. I got kids too. So, that goes along with the cell phone bill payment too.
Things exist together. And the sound of a phone dropping is maybe the most terrifying sound any of us could hear.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting to kind of go with like, the whole what Sherry was talking about, how the internet, or I mean the companies only care about shareholders, the constant expansion, what it does, and then having Bo Burnham talking about what, it seems like to me, kind of Bo Burnham kind of answered the question, like we've colonized pretty much all the land, we've hit that finite spot where we can't, like companies can't grow anymore when it comes to building, I guess. I mean, they could start building up, but now it's, they've switched their attention to how can we keep people's attention? How can we take over their time? And that kind of helps them grow, because if you think about it, clicks, view time on these sites is what makes them the income, the revenue. So the longer you're on, the more they make. Even everything is like that. So it seems like, yeah, they want our time. Obviously, because that's what this generation culturally thinks nowadays too. So